please have your name and details there?
First Constable Daniel Baker.
Daniel, hi Daniel, my last name's a Baker too. Peter?
Peter Simpson, 448.
Lovely. So you guys normally get called out for a simple customer request under the law of consumer law to have a safe place to be in and to be heard. So I've asked for the manager to speak to me after she assaulted me verbally and we've got video up there. Okay, now when I say assaulted verbally, I want you to understand that she addressed me in a way that when I attempt to speak back, she thought that she would lord it over me in the way that she handled the situation. Okay, now because we're in tricky situations, can we stand somewhere where it's more respectful for their customers and so on? Is that okay with you guys?
If you want to have a chat.
Okay. Now, would you like to come and learn, or do you want to stay arrogant?
I want to have a conversation where you're just belittling me.
I'm not belittling you. I'm attempting to. Okay. See, that's the problem we have, isn't it? Okay. So for starters, I'm talking to you. I'll be fair and let you know. The only reason I'm talking to you right now is because I actually have an organisation that trains employees, by the way.
Yeah.
So I was actually attempting to help her understand how she can do her job better. Mm-hmm. Then I asked for a manager or the owner details to be able to speak to them personally. Mm-hmm. Now, is that so rude? And is that a trouble? Is that exactly? I'm allowed to do that. So why was there a need for you two gentlemen to be here right now?
So we were called for a potential COVID breach. So with all this corona restrictions and stuff, obviously we're not allowed to be sitting in the store. And there was a report that you were sitting in the store.
Okay, great. Now, for starters, that's all ignorance. Okay, can you produce the actual laws that have been passed through the actual lawful process that Daniel Andrews has managed to achieve so far?
I can't.
No, you can't. Exactly.
I can't, no.
Right. So you're going to attempt to enforce something that you haven't even personally seen the law written out, and you're going to enforce it as though it's law. Is that correct? Do you mind answering that?
Yes.
You're going to. Okay. So unlawfully, you're going to unlawfully implement something.
In regards to welfare.
All right, fantastic. I'm happy for chatting, okay? Now, this is for educational purposes, okay, as well. Yeah. And I think, first of all, let me go on record as saying I am strongly in favour of the police and the way they're doing their best to handle things, okay? So I want you to understand I'm not...
It's forever evolving, and obviously things change and
right.
With what we've got.
Yeah, but we're in a situation right now where we've got our government system that doesn't understand its correct place. Sorry, I'll step back a little forward. I believe in respecting people in their fear, but I don't believe that we should be controlled based on people's fear, which always comes from insufficient correct evidence. Okay? So just because I do my research correctly and I've got the right information to know what's going on largely out there, does not mean that when I come in a shop, an employee who hasn't bothered to do the research has the right to start trying to boss me around. Right. Okay? And when I attempt to address it respectfully and so on, they're not allowed to then be unlawful. So in theory, I could request that she be arrested for breaking a law, shouldn't I?
Right, yeah. Well,
only I would take that through the correct processes and not waste your time, your valuable time, because you've got other things to do.
What can we do today to keep everybody at peace? So that's what
we're Yep. Thank you, Daniel, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Daniel, you're one of the first police I've come across that is handling this in a professional manner, and I applaud you, okay? The people that will hear this on Facebook and YouTube and so on, I want them to see a policeman that actually has the maturity to do his job correctly and lawfully so far.
Thank you.
All right? And this gentleman's been excellent as well.
So what can we do to satisfy everybody?
Okay. What's going to need to happen in the police, and I would love to assist you guys in doing your jobs better, okay? Do you understand that under the Constitution of the Australian Commonwealth, it clearly states that the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable power resides with the people. Are you aware of that? Okay. So if you're aware of that...
Not as well as you obviously are.
Okay. Now this is the thing. See, if we have people who are not informed correctly in uniforms, running around enforcing something they've been deceived into enforcing, but are actually being the law breakers themselves, that is not a healthy and correct system to be living under. Would you agree?
To a degree.
To a degree. So there's a place for breaking laws?
I can't know every single law under the sun.
Right, I agree. Daniel, I absolutely agree. So therefore, police should be in a place where they only are to enforce the law that they are confident that they understand. Now, no policeman should be. No policeman can do everything. He's not man to everything, is he?
That's what
He or she.
As I said earlier, we came here to deal with what we thought may have been a COVID breach.
Right.
/
So you
see
can
what
clearly
was
see
going
it's
on.
not,
See what
because
was
although
going-
Mr. Andrews has said certain things, it's not actually law yet.
And you're not in here eating a meal and whatnot.
Right. So
you're
you cannot illegally fine me $1,600.
You're allowed to be in here
Yes.
for the purpose of getting food and whatnot.
Right. And I'm also these here. This here. They're allowed to. Yeah. They didn't need a government to threaten them. And they don't need police to come and enforce them and threaten them further. Did you guys join up to the police force and swear your oath to serve the people notice? Did you swear an oath to serve the government or to serve the people?
Serve people.
People. Would you mind repeating that? Who did you swear an oath to serve?
So yeah, as you said.
The who?
Oath to serve the people.
The people, not the government. Is that correct? Did you swear an oath to the government or to the people?
Queen's in there as well, actually.
Ah, okay. The Queen, interestingly. Well, that's getting much deeper. Are you aware that our government...
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
You're all right. As long as you're not calling for other gang members to arrive,
Calling myself.
otherwise you put me in a place of self-defence. You understand that?
No, we don't want to do that.
Okay, excellent.
So at the start of the whole thing, were you actually sitting down in a chair?
Yes, and I have no problem acknowledging that I was sitting because I had a need to sit and rest.
So even though
So that's a
that you were
humane
saying-
thing, isn't it?
Even though
Yeah.
you were saying that the whole thing's closed down and that they
Yes.
have the right to close it down, you were still sitting on seats that were closed.
Well, that would only consider me, if that was a crime in any way, shape or form, that would be just perhaps a customer that was unaware of why somebody randomly threw some tape there. It was simply a chair right there,
Oh,
okay, and I sat here and was respectful of everybody else's
I've got no
fear.
doubt that you're a respect.
Okay, there's no law to say I'm not allowed to grab a chair from there and put it here, even if people in this company, McDonald's, okay, a big company that's also breaking laws. By using staff, they're threatening staff at the cost of their jobs and so on, right, to act as police officers when they haven't even been correctly trained, nor are they classified with the authority to do so, okay? And companies are also not policing staff. So why is the government instead of using the police correctly and only, why are they using governments and staff members, employees, at the fear of their jobs or at the fear of losing their companies and so on, and huge illegal fines? Why is our government, that's supposed to be law-abiding, behaving in such an unlawful manner?
Yeah, that's a bigger question for me, mate.
Ah, big questions, isn't it? This is the point of these videos and why I'm willing to take a stand. You see? Because if people don't understand their history, then they won't understand why Nazi Germany got away with what it did. Okay? Because in documentaries, many German citizens, after the war, when interviewed, went on record as acknowledging that they saw the incorrect behaviours of the current government that was rising, and they were too afraid to stand up. Okay?
Yeah, no,
Right, great.
I
So,
agree with
some-
that stuff that happened
right.
in Nazi Germany. I feel like this is a fair stretch from what was going on there.
And I'm sure they thought that when people were first warning each other that, gee, in history in the past, this is what happened. And in the history in the past, that's what happened. And if we don't stand up now and do things in a lawful manner in order to put a stop to it, we will walk into the same environment.
I can see how some people look this way.
Well, I'm not allowed to sit here in a store without having police sent to me. That's pretty Nazi-like, isn't it?
Probably, well,
Were you going to ask for my details next?
that will probably happen, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's exactly. So you're going to ask for my papers, just like the German soldiers did when they were in other people's countries. So I'm in my own country, minding my own business, and I have to have police called on me. Sorry?
Well, you've acknowledged that all these were closed down. You said that just before.
Oh, sure. But as I said, worst case scenario, that makes me either a possibly ignorant customer
And you don't
or
seem ignorant. I mean, you seem well
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Clearly, there's no offence that's been done other than one that is being that perhaps you might, which you haven't done as yet. So I appreciate that, but perhaps you might, inappropriately, well-meaning, based on what you've been instructed to do, because you're an intelligent man too. I can clearly see that.
appreciate that.
Right. However, you're attempting to follow guidelines from the government that you believe is actually our official government, even It has been...
Putting the government aside, we've had somebody call us for help.
Sure.
To come here and talk.
Right, so can you openly admit on camera that you've come in, you've assessed the situation, you realise the gentleman you're speaking to is in his right mind,
Well, you're not violent.
very understanding of the law, non-violent, thank you, appreciate that. Okay, so the situation's rectified, correct?
I don't know if it's rectified as yet. I mean, she was trying to make it quite clear. From what I saw, interaction,
Right.
she wanted to leave. But you were staying continuously talking. I mean, you were trying to educate.
Well, I'm allowed under consumer law the right to safety while I'm in this place and the right to be heard. Now, which of those two things was I breaching when I respectfully requested to speak to the manager, who's supposed to be the highest person in this store right now, as far as I understand, who is trained to have the capabilities of speaking to a customer?
Well, she was following what she believes is the right stuff from the government with the COVID breaches and so forth. She sees you sitting down, she's going to ask you to leave.
Right, so if she is trained incorrectly and is attempting to enforce an illegal, therefore unlawful system...
But she believes that it's right.
Okay.
Like, you're saying that a lot of people...
Right, so people are allowed to believe whatever they like and break the law. Is that what you're saying?
No, but it does form part of it.
Does form parts of it.
It does form parts of things. Like, I believe I'm doing the right thing.
Uh-huh.
As long as you can back that up and stuff, then...
Right, so if you believe
self-defense.
Right, so if you believe you're doing the right thing and you assault me in the process, is that acceptable?
Well, it depends on the scenario. I don't think so.
Well, what scenario is there in which you're allowed to break a law? Are the police above the law?
No, the police are definitely not.
They are not. Okay, so do you agree you're a public servant?
Yes. 100%.
Right, excellent. So who do you serve?
Well, it's the public. It's
The public. Okay, so what does that make the public? Well, what do servants serve? They serve masters.
So,
Right, so
she's my master as much as you are, if that's
correct. Okay, so you walk in and you correctly assess that although I may be speaking quite confidently, okay, quite confidently, there's no disrespect in speaking confidently, surely? People are breaking the law by being confident?
Well, it depends what they're saying, I guess, when they start confidently calling for violence to be...
Okay, that's different. I agree with that. Well
so
said.
There's caveats on everything.
Absolutely.
everywhere.
But you can clearly see it's been law-abiding?
From the quick moment that I saw there.
Excellent.
But it would depend on if she's asked you to leave.
Right,
You're
okay.
breaching the
Now for the sake of...
going in circles.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the sake of time, okay, and out of respect for the fact that you guys are paid to do much better things than this, okay, I'm just going to wrap it up real quickly by making it quite clear under law, which you already know, I do not have to give my details, and I won't be, okay, and I'm entitled to leave freely because I'm not allowed to be hindered in any way, otherwise it's false arrest, okay, you will not touch me in any way because it's a civil matter at the most, and by law there is to be no physical contact. Okay, so I say good day to you, Daniel. Thank you very much for your time. You've been very respectful. Thank you very much, Peter. Again, I appreciate your time also. You've been excellent. I would love to help. You can see there's a situation here. You guys understand you've got no power whatsoever, which fits right into... I do apologise, of course you do, right? Under the guise of you... May I ask this, are you a policeman or a police officer?
Officer.
Are you a policeman or a police officer?
Not offended.
I'm not offended by either way. Like,
Okay.
if you're asking for offence or...
No, not at all. What I want you to understand is that by calling yourself a police officer, you fit under the fact that the Victorian Police Force has fraudulently been created as a company. Are you aware they're a company and they're not actually an arm of the government under the official Commonwealth and a common law understanding of lawful government? Are you aware of that? No. So you are actually operating as hired guns. You are breaking the law right now without even realising it. Now, we have a serious problem in this country right now, don't we?
With, well, in particular, COVID, you mean? Or
No, COVID's not. It hasn't even killed as many as the everyday people die in a year with the common cold. So we know there's some ridiculous nonsense there. But I respect the police. I respect the fact you guys put your lives on the line. I am absolutely insistent the police deserve a much better pay than you get for what you guys go through. Okay? So I am on your side. And what I'm trying to do is help everyday living beings like yourselves, okay, who have actually gone in with the best intentions. Am I against corrupt police? Absolutely, and I believe you guys would be too. okay? But I don't see 2 corrupt police here. I see 2 policemen that are attempting to do an amazing job and have done so, okay? But what I would love to do is be in a position where enough of the policemen and police women, all right, because the police officer is a legalese term, all right? You've got to begin to get your head around the fact there's 2 types of laws attempting to be enforced here. The first one is the original one set up by our forefathers under the Commonwealth and so on, from the original Queen, okay? And the second one is being set up from an international perspective, private law that has been seeping in over many years, okay, contrary to the laws of the land that are in place, all right? So we don't get to break those laws just because they want to bring in some other ones. And they've deceived you in your training. And I'd love to get alongside you guys and help you guys begin to understand how to spread the news to other fellow policemen and policewomen. Because what you don't understand is somebody like me will come along, you'll make a mistake, and I'll take you to court personally and take your belongings.
Yeah, it happens.
Right, now I don't want to do that. I'm quite happy with what I own.
Yeah.
I don't want yours.
Yeah.
Got your wife and children?
No.
Got a wife and children?
You'll have to go after the ex-wife and my belongings now.
Right, so unfortunately I've lost some of yours, but yeah. Right, now I'm one of the well-meaning ones. I'm more interested in providing education, but I will take a stand on principle if need be.
Yeah.
Okay? So I want to get alongside you guys with anybody that's willing to do so.
Yeah.
Okay, go back and speak to your police station, and I'm happy to come there and give you guys, as many of you guys who want to hear.
Yeah.
And if they won't let you do it there, I'll meet you anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we'll have the conversations necessary to get your head around it enough.
Yeah.
But have you got a pen and paper that you can write some detail, Tam?
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 websites that I strongly encourage you go and research for yourselves personally as much as officers. Okay.
Yep.
The first one is Know Your Rights Group. So KNOW, Know Your Rights Group. .com.au.
Yep.
And the second one is Aussie Speeding Fines.
Yep.
.com.
Do you manage these or just you follow them?
They're not my sites, okay? I thoroughly recommend you get a hold of them. Start on their website, doesn't cost you anything to have a look on their website. Also look up Strawman. Strawman for your own information, so on, and all the illegal things that are going on through your local councils and all of that, so your rates and all that sort of stuff that you're being stolen from. Okay, you can begin to. Here I am helping you and your families begin to actually be more law-abiding. Mm-hmm. Once I've understood it, we're being forced under fear and fines and threats of assault and jail and so on to become unlawful citizens.
Yeah.
Now, I chose to be a lawful citizen. Now that I understand it, I don't have a choice but to stand here and do this.
Yeah.
You see?
Educate.